Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. The officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. The officer Tatum show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. The officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. The officer Tatum show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, I'm back. I know you guys miss me. I've been doing a live stream for a lot. I mean, we had a couple hundred episodes, and then I went out of town for like 3 weeks straight, which was an incredible blessing. Going to the University of Texas to speak with Turning Point USA was incredible. I'm also speaking at high schools there in Austin, Texas, and then going to Orlando, which was my best probably high school event that I've ever done. It was incredible. Also going to the UFC fight. My dad had a chance to meet Donald Trump. Which was super duper fun. Then from there we went to the White House to do the Easter egg roll with me and my family, which was pretty fun. It was like 40,000 people there. I thought it was some exclusive thing. I don't even know how the lawn could hold 40,000 people, but it was a great time. We had a lot of fun, and then we went to Talladega. So shout out to all of our sponsors, all of the people who supported us. We'll be sending your pictures out with the trunk with all the names of people who supported us at that race. We didn't do as good as we wanted to. We were in sixth place the whole time with the most of the race, which meaning that if you're in sixth place most of the race, you have an opportunity to win the race towards the end. And what ended up happening is crashes happened, and our guy had to avoid like 3 crashes that happened right in front of him. And at the very freaking end on the last lap, they had a crash, and he avoided it to the left, and 2 cars went by to the right, and then they ended the race. And so therefore 2 people ended up getting ahead of him, so he just was right outside the top 10. Incredible time. Caleb did a really good job, and I'm very thankful for it. I want to tell you guys about a couple things. First, I want to tell you guys about the e-commerce store, a Tatum store. If you want some merch, we just started doing beach towels, and these beach towels are insane. Look at that. Great quality, soft beach towel. It's literally about 6 feet tall almost. So this is a big towel, great quality, and we got a whole bunch of designs. Now, we have them available right now for pre-order, but if you put in the discount code SUMMER20, you'll get 20% off. You put in SUMMER20, you'll get 20% off. It's some of your favorite designs that Officer Tatum has done, and we'll have them available for you in towel form. So make sure you go to tatumstore.com and pre-order your towels today. Also, Synergy. I don't have a package with me right now, but Synergy is actually live. It's 5 years in the making, 3 years in formulation, and I don't even know how to. I'm like in shock that we finally got it in production. All of our staff are now mandated to drink Synergy. I'll just play it. No, but for real, if they want an energy drink, they got to drink Synergy. Can't bring nothing else up in this building. But it's an incredible product, all natural product. If you take the day and the night together, that's when you get complete energy, which a lot of energy companies don't want to tell you because they need you to be tired so you can have to use their energy drinks. But we want you to get a great night's sleep so you wake up with energy and also have sustainable energy and focus throughout the day. A bunch of natural ingredients. We use ashwagandha, magnesium, melatonin in the night drink. And we use a bunch of other nootropics in the day drink that will give you clean, sustainable energy. No crashing, none of that bull crap. Just straight quality energy. And eventually I'm gonna put my formulator on here because I think that we need to give him a shout out because I want to introduce you guys to him. Like, we don't private label this stuff. We had it formulated from scratch. I mean, we talked to a person. I said I need it to be like this. I need it to taste good. I need it to have efficacy. I want all of the best supplement products and vitamins you can put in an energy drink that can give you good energy without screwing you over. So make sure you go to synergylife.com, synergylife.com. And for everybody else that purchased and pre-ordered, when you get it, taste it, and leave a review. Give us a 5-star if you believe it's 5-star worthy. All right. Let's talk about Donald Trump real quick. I want to give Donald Trump a quick shout out. I think his first 100 days have gone good. And has it been great? Well, he don't have the opportunity necessarily to be great yet. It's like going into a house and remodeling the house. The first week you're remodeling, you got to tear that ugly floor up. You got to tear the counters out. You probably have to blow out a couple walls. You got to try to redo landscaping. It may look ugly and nasty. You got plastic everywhere so you can block the wind. You fence off the property so the dirt don't blow everywhere. You got all this stuff that you got to do when you first start remodeling a house or refurbishing a house or whatever the case may be. And it's not going to be pretty at first. But if anybody with a connected brainstem and common sense can see that, wow, they tore down that countertop, they got the granite sitting right here, that's going to be beautiful. They tore that fence down that was ugly, and they have the gating that they're going to put like a view gate or view fence. That's going to be beautiful. Oh, they finally got rid of that ugly swing that was in the backyard, and they modified it and put a patio for the kids to have a whole, whatever the case may be. I can see the remodeling of the American dream or the refurbishing. I won't say refurbished. There may not be the upgrading of the American dream, which means that we've been settling at this and we finna get an upgrade. And like you do on your phones, it's an update. And here's a couple things that Donald Trump has done that should be notable. Executive orders, he signed 139 executive orders. Presidential proclamations, he did 33. Presidential memoranda, 33. Hostages rescued, 11 hostages. Tariffs in China, we put them up at 245%. Federal workforce reduced by 260,000 positions. Federal spending saved $160 billion as of April the 18th, 2025. For 100 days, I think he's doing a really good job. And that's not including all the moral stuff he's done, right? 2 genders, standing up for the American people, putting God first. I mean, all of those things are incredible, even if they're not tangibly, numeric on a piece of paper. But Donald Trump has done a lot of great things. And I'm very proud of what he's done. And I'm willing to hang in there with him and stick through the tough times with Trump because I think he's acting in good faith. All right. Some people may disagree. That's on you. You're entitled to your opinion. We live in America. Okay, my next topic. I want to talk about Shadur Sanders real quick. I know everybody's been talking about him. Everybody's been making him the spectacle of the NFL draft. But let me just keep it real with y'all real quick. It won't take long. It is absolutely unequivocally a shame and a travesty that you have Cam Ward, who people aren't even talking about. The boy was drafted #1 overall, a black man, a black quarterback. All that racist stuff that these people are spewing is absolute nonsense. Black people don't have an opportunity to play quarterback, and he got drafted #1. Black people, they get screwing over Shadur Sanders because they don't like his blackness. The first overall pick, the second person, and the third pick are all black people. One of them got braids. Travis Hunter got dreads, and then the Ahmad dude, or whatever his name is, that defensive end, He came in with gold teeth in his mouth, a big old chain on. So what black folk culture is the NFL denying? No, Shadur just wasn't that good. He wasn't good enough for the shenanigans that he put forth. That's it. If he was Johnny Manziel, if he's any one of these crazy athletes, they'll put up with baggage if you good. Michael Vick actually went to prison and he came back and started in the NFL. That's because he's talented. Nobody cares. I mean, they'll give and take on your flaws. But the thing about Shadur Sanders is that he don't see his flaws. And I think his father is doing him such a disservice. And I hate it because I would love to see a black father and sons like the white fathers and sons. And Peyton Manning or Archie Manning, I think what's their dad name? Is it Archie Manning? Peyton Manning and their daddy. I wonder is Archie Manning their grandfather? I can't. No, that's his. That's. No, his daddy. He got a dad. Their daddy named Archie, I think, or what is their daddy name?
Oh, it's Archie. Yeah, it's Archie.
Yeah. Okay. So Eli and Peyton, their dad. But let's talk about the difference, right? Eli Manning was the number 1 overall pick. He was number 1. So that's like saying your son is Caleb Williams. That's like saying your son is what's the little dude for the Cardinals? I can't stand him. Kyler Murray or Cam Ward, right? If Deion's son was that guy, then you can make the comparison that daddy is standing up for his son. But how many gold chains and stuff are you seeing Eli Manning wearing? When he did the interview and his daddy was there when he got drafted first overall and his daddy had the controversy and where the team had to trade up to get him because he didn't want to play for the first team on the board. What did he say? He didn't go, my daddy told me this. You know who my daddy is? He didn't say none of that old crazy stuff. He said it was his decision, which it probably wasn't. But to the public and the people, he said it was his position. Let me just explain real quick why Shadur Sanders didn't go where some of y'all thought he would go. I don't know what y'all was thinking. I said 100 years ago he wanted to go first round. One is because he's not that good. Is he good? Yes, but he ain't that good, right? His throwing ability is good. He can throw the ball. He can launch it. I don't know how the power of his arm, but when I watch his film, he can dish it. His throwing ability is not in question whatsoever. Now his decision making is in question. His availability or his ability to throw the ball, throw people open. He hold on to the ball too long. I don't know what he's seeing when he's in the backfield. Yeah, his offensive line sucked, but God dog it. I mean, when somebody getting whooped on the line where you say HUD, you got to be able to sense that and evade people. He can't run that well, and his character. I was talking to my son about this just last night. I said, you see what happened to Shadur Sanders? I said, son, character is incredibly important. Never walk around like your stuff don't stink. Never walk around like you're entitled. Even if you're the number 1 draft pick and you're the best person to ever play the game, you still have to operate with a level of humility, because the biggest turnoff to coaches and anybody is a person who can't be humble and a person who can't be coachable. And nobody want to hear you tell them, a grown man that run a franchise, that your daddy gonna be the one pulling the strings. You're a grown man. You need to be making your own decisions. You're not Deion Sanders. You didn't run a 4.2 and a 40. You wasn't a two-way player. Travis Hunter was, but Shadur Sanders and Shiloh was not that. And I don't know if Deion married the wrong woman or whatever, because neither one of his kids got his athletic ability in any way, form, or fashion. So, but regardless of that, it is what it is. That's what happened to Shadur Sanders. And it's not about race. It's not about the fact that the NFL is trying to hold him down and it's a conspiracy. It's like, bro, you put on the film, he wasn't that good for all that drama he bringing. And if you're not a first-round draft pick or you're not a starting quarterback into the draft, it's impossible for them to draft you as a backup if you got all this drama. That's it. He's going to cause a lot of controversy. He could. I think that they could play this controversy and make it a positive. He could cause a lot of controversy for the Browns because they literally got 5 quarterbacks and they drafted a guy in front of him, 2 rounds in front of him. But maybe they want that drama. Maybe they want people to get Shadur Sanders jerseys, and maybe they'll screw everybody over and make Shadur Sanders the starter so they can make Deion happy. I don't know. let's get to some more news. The tariffs. I almost said the sheriffs. The tariffs. So Amazon allegedly came out. I saw a press conference with Caroline Levitt saying that Amazon is doing this. So this is why I'm saying they're doing it, because the White House said they're doing it. I would presume that they know more than I know. Now, I guess there was a statement that was put out. Somebody alleged that Amazon said they weren't going to do this and they never planned to do this. That sounds cute when you get exposed on a national scale. Everybody say we wasn't going to do it, but where did this come from? Somebody just made it up. They just picked Amazon out of the blue. I think Amazon did say they may have backpedaled because their stock dropped and there was a bunch of controversy surrounding it. And it was absolutely hypocritical and unnecessary. All right, so let's listen to what Caroline Levitt had to say about it at her press conference today. Wrote a clip.
It was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect, crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this, since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Now, let me speak on this real quick. I was a little bit upset when I heard about this. Obviously, I made a video on my Instagram, and I just felt like it was hypocritical if Amazon was to even think about doing this. They didn't do it under the Biden administration when the Biden had tariffs too. And also, what's the point of disclosing somewhat of your profit margin, but not the whole thing? If you really want to be transparent to the customer, then put how much the tariffs are hiked up, but then also put how much you hiking up the price. Some of these people that are selling product on Amazon literally bought it for 25 cents and selling it to you for $40, for $25. So since y'all want to be so transparent, show what the Trump tariffs has done, but then also show how much you marked up. Because then people will realize that, well, wait a minute, you could come down $10 and still make a 90% profit margin. But the Trump tariffs raised the price by $5. And you could drop the thing by $5 and still make 80% profit. So be completely transparent if you think you're going to be transparent. I don't think it's necessary to put tariffs and stuff like that. I mean, it's temporary. It's going to be like this. We're going to get into a fight, and then Donald Trump is going to do what's best for America. That's just it. This is one of those things where you got to leverage. You guys put us in a bad situation economically in the country. We've been behind on tariffs. I don't know how long. We've been losing a trade deficit. At some point, somebody got to do something. They kicked the can down the street till it came to Donald Trump. And then he the big bad boogeyman. But somebody was going to have to do something. Am I right or am I wrong? They have to do something. And people don't understand tariffs that well. And I'll play Kevin O'Leary because I think Kevin O'Leary and a young lady had a really good concept here. And they said it on the news. But one thing people don't understand about tariffs is a negotiating tool. It's not a permanent solution. Now, other companies have made it a permanent solution against us, but we hardly ever make it a permanent solution against others. Let me tell you why. People say, the reporter you just heard said, isn't this a direct reflection of how the pricing is being passed down to the consumer and not really hurting China? Think about this. China have tariffs on our products going into China. Are they sitting there saying it's hurting the Chinese people that we have a tariff like that? No, what's happening is that if it costs too much for Chinese people to bring in products to China, they're going to go other places to get the product. So that's what hurts America, not the tariff itself, not the pass down of the cost to the consumer. That's not where the battle is at. Because if the pass downing or the handing down of the price to the consumer was the biggest issue with tariffs, nobody would impose tariffs. Everybody would be screwing their citizens by imposing even an ounce of tariff. We would just have 100% free trade. the thing is that tariffs is leverage, so you either have independent production in your own country or you outsource to other countries that could be more competitive. Therefore, if tariff getting it from China is a little too expensive and we can find something to get from Mexico or somewhere else, we will begin over time to start getting products from other places. And what happens? China feels the effect of the deviation of products. Or also, let's put it this way, also the lack of getting products from China, not just the deviation of the products being built in America and other countries, but the fact that people are not buying the product because it costs too much. So people are buying less of the product from China, even though the product is still being bought from China. And so what does China have to do? They start figuring out a strategy to say, okay, if we lower the tariffs, more people, we lower the tariffs, then America will lower their tariffs, and then more people will continue to buy the products, and they'll continue to buy the products from us and not anywhere else. So I get upset when people reduce it to a conversation of just about the consumer pricing in America. Roll the clip.
Being criticized for is the thing that worked. If he had come in and very nicely and politely gone to each of these countries and said, I'm trying to explain. If he had very nicely and calmly and politely gone to each of these countries and said, look, you've been screwing us over, you've been screwing over the American working class for 40 years, and we're not going to take it anymore. Let's sit down and have like a nice conversation. How about you bring down those tariffs? Let's meet halfway somewhere. They would have said, no way. I'll tell you what worked. He picked up a baseball bat, he whacked the stock market, and now they're all sitting there in a state of relief that it's only a 10% tariff, and they're coming to the table.
Wait, I'm confused.
That's how you know that it worked.
I'm legitimately confused. So Trump,
of course you are, you dumb,
destroying 20% of wealth in the country
By the way,
over the
all
last
of the losses
4
have
months.
recovered at this
Who
point.
wins
That's
from
not
that?
true.
Hold on.
Of course they have.
I'm going to let her finish, but I want y'all to catch that. This dumb woman, and I don't know why they keep putting black people out here to make us look stupid. This dumb woman is saying that he destroyed 20% of the market. Because the stock dropped don't mean that the market is destroyed. I don't know what people think about the stock market. I don't know if people are smoking crack when they looking at this or not, but the stock market is not inevitable when the stock drops. Stocks come and they go, they rise and they fall, ebb and they flow. No, you can when you look at the stock chart, it's never like this or a straight line. It's literally like this. And then over time, it's going to be up here. If you had money in the market 10 years ago, you are still winning. You are still at a net profit. If you were in the market 20 years ago and you had Tesla and you had all these tech companies, you had Facebook, you had Meta, or they call it Alphabet for YouTube or Google. If you had those stocks 15 years ago, you were still like 2,000% up in the market on just those products. What are y'all talking about? They like to fearmonger people. It don't make sense. And the young lady said all of the losses that incurred with the tariffs have since recovered. So what's the argument? Roll the clip.
Give you the date on the losses. April 3rd was a meltdown. Let me give you the data.
Hold on, Kevin. Don't interrupt me.
I want facts.
Who benefits when the stock market drops and people lose value in both their investments and also
now to
in
get
terms of the
a deal. So yeah, it's been 4 weeks and we don't have a deal yet. They're working. They're very close to announcing them. India and Vietnam both announced tariffs on China. You think they would have done that if Trump hadn't shown that he was serious about standing up for the American working class and that he doesn't work for Wall Street?
How have the American people benefited is the question that I'm asking in this period.
$1.5 trillion
in this period
in
of time.
manufacturing.
Those are commitments that have not materialized in a
4
single
weeks.
Let me jump in. I hope Kevin O'Leary jumps in. Do you see how stupid that woman is to poo-poo at $1 trillion of commitments? You know, that's like, I want y'all to put this in perspective. That's like me saying, I'm working with one of the distributors of our product and we're going back and forth. And I have since yelling at their CEO and getting in his face and talking crazy, and we got in an argument on the phone that now my employees have to take a 5% pay cut, right? However, after this argument, other distributors that we've worked with have committed to $10 million of business with us. Now, you got to be stupid out of your mind to think that that's a net negative for my employees. They may have taken a 5% hit, but the future of this conversation that was had in this difficult time for a short period of time is going to make them 20% in raises. The America is playing hardball and negotiating in this period. People are going to pay a little bit more for food. They're going to pay a little bit more for other stuff. But people have made $1 trillion of commitments. Once the commitments are fulfilled, then the American people are going to feel the profits. China is not going to be able to continue, just like America is not going to be able to continue with these crazy tariffs. What's going to happen is that both countries are going to come to the table and make a reasonable concession. And I believe that anybody that's got common sense knows that that concession is going to net benefit the American people. And when that concession happens, you are going to wish that your financial advisor told you to be buying stock now, putting more money in the market now, because as soon as there's an announcement that there's deals that are being made, India their commitment is coming to fruition. China and America comes to a conclusion. The market is going to soar like we've never seen before, just off of impulse. And it's going to go back down a little bit, but it is going to soar. You can almost mark my words. And all these people are going to have an egg on their face. Roll the clip.
Most of those are press releases and pictures with shovels, and then it never happens. And you can go back. That is
what happened in the first term. We have seen this movie before.
That is always
true. Can we just talk about facts for a moment? April 3rd was a meltdown based on the tariff announcements. The stock market has recovered 52% of those since then. As we wait to see the outcomes of the India agreement, the EU agreement, the UK agreement, the Swiss agreement, the Thailand agreement, the Japanese agreement, Canadian agreement, Mexican agreement. No administration has ever done 60 trade agreements at once. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's chaotic.
Including
but
this
all
one.
you care
So
about is 17 deals.
Okay.
Except China. Forget about China. Let's be pragmatic with tariffs and not get emotional about it. They are short-term weaponry. Let's just take India for an example.
You might want to tell that
convince all of you this is
Kevin,
good policy.
you might want to tell that to the president. I want to deal in the real world.
Let me answer
because in the
okay?
real world, when Donald Trump says, I want to pay for eliminating the income tax with tariffs, that doesn't sound to me like a man who thinks this is just a short-term negotiation.
Why would you think any individual in government that doesn't face an election gives a damn about polls? They don't. He's not facing an election again. It's over. He's done. So let's get back to reality. Let's take tariffs in the context of something everybody can understand. Tata Motors in India makes the Jaguar car. Okay? We want to sell an American car in India. They charge us 110% tariffs. We charge them nothing to bring the Jag into the U.S. Why is that fair? Let's just stay focused for 1 second on that. All he's saying in his policy, and I don't want to be about Trump. I don't shill for politicians. I shill for policy. What's wrong with saying to India, hey, India, it's not okay to charge us 110% on our assembled car into your nation when we charge you practically nothing on yours, the Jaguar coming into the United States. What's wrong with either parity on tariffs, we whack you with 110, or bring them back to zero? The Indian guy comes over here and says, okay, big guy, let's go to zero.
Okay,
and what's wrong with that? Tell me what's wrong with that.
No,
What's wrong with that?
I don't think.
What's wrong with that?
I don't think anyone is suggesting that tariffs used very strategically.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Very strategically are a useful tool. It is the way it's being done, the flip-flopping.
None of these people, except Kevin O'Leary, is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. None of these people are experts in the market. Kevin O'Leary has probably been in the market trading and buying and acquiring companies as longer than these people have been alive. Why do they grandstand? The lady just said implementing tariff. Nobody's arguing that the proper implementation or tactical implementation of tariffs is a bad thing. Well, why don't you shut up and allow the tactic that we're using to come to fruition before you make a judgment? It is absolutely stupid and biased, which we know that they are, for them to project that what Donald Trump is doing is bad. They don't know what's good or bad. You can't win a debate or a negotiation if you don't start negotiating. What do they think is going to happen? Trump is going to just go and say, hey, let's negotiate. And they're going to say, yeah, whatever you want, Trump. No. In the negotiation, there's some hard truths and there's some hard stances that you have to take. When I go and negotiate something, just say I'm negotiating a speaking fee, because when I travel and people I go speak, my time is worth money. When I go to a person for a speaking fee, I have the fee in mind that I want. I also have the fee in mind that I'm going to tell you. And I also have the fee in mind that I will not accept. Now, the person that I'm talking to don't know the fees. They don't know which one is which. Sometimes I go straight line. This is what I want. This is what I will. This is my end goal. This is what I want. This is what I won't accept anything other than this. They don't know where I'm at with that. They will never know. That's the art of negotiating. And just like, and I'm giving you some insight if you're a person who do speaking. Sometimes when it's time for your market value to go up, sometimes you have to pitch a number higher than what you've ever gotten. And the way speaking works is that when you pitch a number where you believe you're valued at, and somebody pays you that number, that is now your value spot. If I charge somebody $50,000 to speak and I only been getting paid $3,000, and somebody says yes to $50,000, this is my new marker. Now, I don't negotiate and tell other people what I charge. So nobody knows what I charge unless they start talking to each other, which would be a violation of the contract. But nobody knows what I charge to speak. So I'm just saying this to say, Donald Trump in the negotiation is not going to say, we want 5% tariffs. Can you agree to that? And they're going to say, go F yourself. And now his hand is played and we're done. Donald Trump in his mind probably, and I think that other people are consulting with him, they want China to come down from hypothetically, from 40% to 100%. That's Trump's win. Potentially. He's not going to tell China that because China may come down to 70% instead of 100%. And therefore he won bigger than what he expected. I mean, I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying. But Kevin O'Leary spanked up pretty good. And that's because the guy know what he's talking about. Do we got some more of the clip left? Roll it. 18 seconds.
You don't like the volatility?
The uncertainty that every business owner now has to face when they plan their hiring.
It's only been 100 days.
Tell
Relax.
59% of Americans to get over it. That's the reality.
Let it simmer. Let it. Listen, you got to let it simmer. You got to let it work. You got to give it time.
Americans.
But let me tell you what the dumb black lady in the middle is going to say, and the dumb white lady. They both dumb. But the black lady in the middle is finna finish with even dumber. Let the American people got to, hey, let's keep it real. How many of y'all on food stamps and government assistance? I think it's like 30% or 40% of Americans are on government assistance. So y'all don't count. So quit talking about the stock market and all this. Y'all don't even pay taxes. Y'all ain't even involved in this. You got an EBT card and you get free health care from the state. Shut up. You don't count. Then you got to think of the people who are ultra wealthy and rich, millionaire. If you're a millionaire and above, this stuff don't really matter to you as much. And if you worth 8-figure, 9-figure, 10 figures, you ain't even thinking about this stuff in the short term. You can weigh it out. But the middle class of America, what is going to increase that you cannot overcome? If tariffs, let's put this in perspective. And this is why the American people need to get their head out of their butt sometimes, is because not everything you get, you need. There's things that are essentials and there's things that are luxuries. And God is my witness. The American people have been spoiled for so long that people don't know the difference. And I'm not saying that that Donald Trump is good, that the prices are going up. What I'm saying is that you're going to be all right. Some of y'all need to cut back. Some of you don't need to go out to eat every single night of the week. Maybe you need to meal prep. Some of y'all fat and you probably should be in a calorie deficit anyway. So maybe you shouldn't be eating that much. Maybe you could cut back a little bit. Maybe if you bought some greens instead of buying chickens and all this other stuff that you putting on your plate, maybe you will survive. If you're not consuming 6,000 calories a day, you're not going to die. Your stomach may growl, but you ain't finna die. Some of y'all got a gym membership. Just go outside. You can do some body weight workout. Just go on a walk. Get your heart rate to 140, 130, and you will burn fat. Do some push-ups every morning. Some of y'all got a gym membership and don't even go to the gym every day. You don't need a gym membership right now. Just temporarily cut a halt. Some of y'all go to Starbucks every single morning and pay $8, $9 for coffee and stuff. You can get it and brew it at your house. You don't need your Starbucks coffee. That coffee overrated anyway, if you ask me. Come on, family vacations. Because of what I've been able to build with, obviously, the help of many of y'all who listen to my stuff, I've been able to be financially successful. I see people who are average earners spending $20,000 on a vacation. $20,000 on a vacation for me is like, whoa. That's a lot of money for a vacation. I see people that are average earners that are making six figures a year or with dual income, and they spending $20,000 on vacations. That's insane to me. I'm driving down the street now. I live in a very affluent area. But everywhere I drive, I see temp plates. People buying brand new cars, which is the stupidest thing you can ever do. They buying brand new cars off the lot. Brand new Mercedes, brand new. You can get that thing 2 years old with good mileage on it and you good. Still got the certified pre-owned. I'm just saying, people are blowing their money. So if you smart about your money, especially you young people that don't have kids or nothing, you should be living with other people. You can sacrifice your anonymity or whatever you want to call it, autonomy, temporarily. You got plenty of time in the world to be living with somebody and having 2 or 3 bedrooms. Live in a 3-bedroom and have 2 other roommates. What have we gotten into that we think that one person that's single with no kids needs a 2-bedroom? Anything. I see people do it all the time. I used to do it. Well, no, I had my kids, so I had to make sure my kid always had a room in my house. That was just a thing that daddy would never do. My son would never come with me, except a few times I had to make some sacrifices. But for the most part, my son never come with me and ain't got no room. I always have his own room, even when he lived with his mama. But like, some of y'all got 2 bedrooms because you waiting for a family member to come stay with you, and they only come 3 times in a year. And you got a 2-bedroom. You could put another person in that bedroom, and now your rent is in half. But nobody want to hear me say that. They gonna keep fluffing. I'm just telling you that you're gonna get through these tariffs. If some of y'all gonna have to make some sacrifices. When that new iPhone come out and that new Android come out, you can't get it yet. Just wait till 2 generations. They the same phone. They add 3 things to it, and then they change the charger back. So every other phone you had the same charger, and you ain't gotta waste your money on that charger. Come on, man. Some of y'all need to do better. And I'm not saying just y'all, us. We sitting there complaining, and you go look at your budget, and you like, bro, you got $200 a month that you just blowing every month. And you talking about the tariffs. And then some of the stuff that's tariffed, you don't even buy. The car price is going to go up. You ain't buying a car every day. Only thing you should worry about is food prices. Let me just give y'all a synopsis of these food prices that I just looked at. And this is just to understand inflation a little bit. Because, of course, they didn't want to tell y'all what was going on under the Biden administration. But let me do this real quick, and I'm going to go to the next topic. In 2021, inflation raised due to the pandemic-related supply chain. And in 2022, inflation peaked at 9.1%, which is the highest since 1981, which was way before I was born. You go on to 2023, 2024, which is the end of the Biden administration, inflation finally went down to 2.9. So December of 2024, inflation went down to 2.9. Now, here's the impact to the consumers. Grocery prices increased by 2.4% year over year. Now, let's just put this in perspective. 2.4%. Let's say, and I can do simple math. Let's just say that your groceries you spend a month is $1,000, right? $1,000 groceries. If it was 10%, it'd be $100 extra a month. 1% or 2% would be $20 more a month. So I'm just putting this in perspective. If the grocery average prices went up 2%, if you spent $1,000 on groceries, you spend an extra $20 more a month. Over the course of a year, that's an extra $200 a year that you spend. I'm not trying to say that some of y'all doing too much with complaining, because if you say it costs my family $20 more a month, I swear before the Lord that you could find things that you be spending money on that you could save $20 a month. Come on, let's keep it real. I'm just going off the numbers. Now, if the prices have gone up 50% on groceries, I can see people jumping out the window. But you're talking about 2%. And most families aren't spending $1,000 on groceries a month, I don't think. I don't think so, depending on the family size. You got 5, 6 kids, you probably over that. Come on, I'm just throwing it out there. Really what some of y'all spending too much money on is that your wife out there working because she want to have a name in the lights, and y'all paying $5,000 a month for childcare when she should be at home taking care of kids and doing little hobbies on the side, making a little money, but taking care of your own kids, that'll save you a ton of money. And both of y'all don't need a car. One of y'all need to have a car. One of y'all can use transportation. Y'all can do something. Both of y'all got a brand new SUV. Stop it. All right. I know y'all gonna be mad at me over this. I know you're gonna be mad at me, but I love you anyway. Let's talk about the Blackhawk helicopter crash, because this is a very weird and suspicious things that I think is going on. And it's funny because we'll never get the answer to. My researcher, Jordan, she gave me a little bit of information that most people are not talking about. And it's not necessarily confirmed, but it's incredibly suspicious. So Rebecca, what's her name? Rebecca Lobach, who's the pilot who messed up everything and ended up killing everybody. It's interesting that the family requested of the military, which is a violation of military policy, that they wanted them to hold off on releasing her name. Now, in the time that they held off, which is after notifying the next of kin within 24 hours, I think 24 or 48 hours, they have to disclose the name. But while they held off on it, longer than policy dictates for everybody else in the military, it appears that they completely scrubbed all of her social media. Now, maybe, just maybe, they just wanted to protect her image. Or maybe, just maybe, the stuff that she was posting on social media was very concerning. And if people knew her name, they would have looked it up before they could delete everything. It's interesting to me to know what was on her social media that people were willing to violate policy to protect her in order for them to completely delete her social media or virtually delete her social media. Now, obviously, some information has come out about what happened specifically, and there's a couple things that she did that were incorrect, that led to everybody dying. I'm just going to keep it straight honest with you, because if it was me, I don't mind if y'all talk about me like this when I'm dead. If I did what she did and I killed 70, 80 people, I don't know how many people end up dying in this, then y'all can talk as bad as you want about me, because I would deserve it if I did this. Now, it's funny because people like to say that she spoke over the ground crew and that she missed instructions from her co-pilot. Now, everybody dead, so we don't know if she missed it or she ignored it. So quit saying she missed the instructions. She could have very well blatantly ignored it, or she was so incompetent that she didn't interpret it properly and ended up getting a lot of people killed. Now, I'm not trying to bash this young lady. She lost her life. But accountability is accountability, because somebody grandma, somebody cousin, somebody daughter all took a L that day, flying in the air at 200 miles per hour to just die a probably horrible, scary death landing in the bay there. That don't forget about them too. All right, let's play the clip real quick. Yeah, what I would have liked was, while I was talking, to recap the incident. That would have been good to play in the B-roll. But let's play the information clip, and then I'll go over why I think that this stuff is critical to understand, and also a little bit of critique that I haven't mentioned yet. Roll it.
Well, tragic new details are pointing to failures in the January mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport that killed 67 people.
67.
A shocking new report by the New York Times revealing the Army Blackhawk pilot failed to heed a flight instructor's warning just seconds before crashing with an American Airlines jet, killing everyone on board. We head out now to News Nation's Rich McHugh. And Rich, you've obtained some new audio recordings from that incident. What more are you learning?
Hi, Kelly. Yeah, up until now, the discussion has been centered around the height of the Blackhawk helicopter and that it had been flying too high. And now we're learning that multiple safety precautions failed that night. But ultimately, this report by the New York Times is pointing the finger at the Blackhawk pilot that she failed to follow the command of her co-pilot and flight instructor that night. The New York Times states that Captain Rebecca Loback missed an order from her co-pilot, flight instructor Andrew Eves. He was overseeing what was a training mission. The order changed course to avoid the oncoming American Airlines jet. In addition to that, pilots missed key information when they stepped on instructions from air traffic control. In other words, they talked over instructions and didn't hear them, missing the directives from air traffic control that the plane was circling. In this audio we've obtained 20 seconds before the crash, you can hear the tower ask the Blackhawk, "Do you have the plane in sight?" and to pass behind the plane. The helicopter pilot requests visual separation to use their own visuals instead of direction from the tower. Take a listen.
At-25, get the CRJ in sight. At-25, pass is CRJ. This club has a aircraft in sight, separation.
The tower then approves visual separation, but it was too late. Seconds later, you can hear commotion in the tower, and then you can hear the reaction of the impact. Take a listen.
472 Washington Tower, 1 star, 32017.
Now, the NTSB corroborates some of this. In February, they said the Blackhawk may not have heard the command because they had stepped on the audio that air traffic control had told the pilots in the Blackhawk twice that the plane was changing runways, was circling, and would be landing. Here's the NTSB describing the breakdown 2 minutes before the crash.
At 8:46:01, a radio transmission from the tower was audible on the CRJ CVR, informing the Blackhawk that traffic just south of the Wilson Bridge was a CRJ at 1,200 feet circling to runway 33. CVR data from the Blackhawk indicated that the portion of the transmission stating the CRJ was circling may not have been received by the Blackhawk crew. We hear the word circling in ATC communications, but we do not hear the word circling on the CVR of the Blackhawk.
Now, certainly a more complicated picture of what happened that night, Kelly. We've asked the Army for comment. They have yet to get back to us.
All right, let me interject real quick, because as a pilot that I follow, his commentary is incredible. Like, he's really, really good. He puts his stuff together, and I guarantee you he has a great explanation of this now that the new information has come out, and he's always privy to this stuff that most people aren't. So I'll be interested to see what he had to say. Maybe in post-production we'll put it out there. But she had 450 total flight hours, 326 hours specifically with the Blackhawk helicopter. Now, out of a little bit of frustration, I'm overly critical of this person, but we cannot forget that her co-pilot who was training her is also responsible. Let me tell you why. Because when I was a police officer, I was a field training officer, FTO, and I'm responsible for the guy that's driving his car. And I need to make proper judgments and adjustments and listen and make sure that he's safe and everybody else is safe. Now, if he runs through a red light and kills everybody, do you blame me? No. But also, I should have responsibility in part of making sure he don't kill himself because he didn't hear a transmission or he's unaware of things that he probably wouldn't know because he's somewhat in a role of not having as much experience as me. So, for instance, the visual separation situation, what I heard from that pilot that I was watching is that they requested visual separation. However, they were looking at the wrong aircraft. And this is how they messed up, because technically this aircraft is here. They want visual separation, but they're requesting visual separation as they're looking at a plane back there. So that's why you see them request visual separation and then the crash happens like this. That's because they weren't asking for visual separation from this plane that's right here. They're somehow, the pilot and co-pilot are both looking back at another plane that's off in the distance, and they could adequately request visual separation. And the difference between visual separation is that you're looking at the plane and you're saying, I see it. I'm going to make adjustments because I can see the plane coming and I'm going to adjust. When the towers are telling you what to do, that's that you're not relying on visual separation, which probably takes some experience. You're letting them tell you the plane that's incoming is traveling at so many knots or whatever. And therefore they can predict if they're good enough that they're going to be at this point in about 30 seconds. So I need you to go down to 200 feet, and they may tell the pilot, can you, I don't know, circle back around, or I need you to throttle back and you're coming in too fast, or you need to speed up coming in. They can adjust those things on the go when they're in complete control. When it's visual separation, you should be able to adjust on your own and say, okay, that thing is there. We're going to go down about 200 feet, which will clearly make you miss. Or we're going to slow up, or we'll circle back around, or whatever the case may be. But clearly this person didn't do it. Now, what it makes me wonder, and everybody should wonder, but the people that work with this person should be able to clarify it publicly. But what it makes me wonder is, was this a DEI hire? Was this somebody that should have never been flying that jet, and that time and time again through evaluation, people knew that this person was not prepared? Meaning that I don't care if you did 450 hours, because some people are making mistakes 450 hours in a row, and people wanting to pass them along will just overlook it. Let me give you an example. As a FTO, if you are a FTO that favors a person that you're training, they're messing up, but you're not documenting that they're messing up. If you're riding with a person that's a female police officer, and we need more female police officers, will they, or somebody who's biased, look beyond their flaws? We get into an altercation and the person is afraid to engage. But I don't put it on my document and I don't dock the person for it. And therefore the commanders think that they're passing with flying colors. And me and everybody else know that this person is struggling. We had them push a woman through in Tucson like this. She was a terrible candidate in the academy. She was a terrible candidate on the police department. Thank God, during a situation where she was the only person that had her gun out and the only person that fired a shot, an officer leaned over to like grab his coffee or something like this, because she fired a bullet and it went through the seat of the police vehicle. And if that man was sitting like this, she'd have shot him right in the face. And she shouldn't have never had a finger on the trigger to start with. But the guys would tell me, because I wasn't there when she was there, but they told me that they pushed her through because they needed a woman on the police department. So they pushed her on through. I'm hoping that they didn't do that with this person in this Blackhawk helicopter, that they just pushed her through because they need a woman to be a Blackhawk helicopter operator. All right, let me go to my last story. What time is it? Let me go to my last story because I got to get my wife from the airport. The last story I'm going to talk about is the Stephen A. Smith and Michelle Obama story, the reporter-in-chief. So let me put this in perspective. Let's go to Michelle Obama's clip first. Michelle Obama. This is why I don't like these people. It's not because they're Democrats. And some of y'all think I hate black people. It's not because I don't like black people. I just don't like N-words. Nobody liked the ends. I love black people. I think black people are some of the greatest people to ever live. But them ends are the ones that mess it up for everybody. And I think, and I don't know her brother. He just looking sweeter than a fruitcake. But Michelle is the end. These people are evil. These people are liars. They will lie and deceive you to your face. There is no reason whatsoever on God's green earth that Michelle Obama would say what she's about to say. There's no reason other than the fact that she's evil. Listen to what she said and you tell me if she's evil or not. Roll the clip.
In this current climate for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants. So it's not the fear for myself anymore. I drive around in a 4-car motorcade with a police escort. I'm Michelle Obama. I do still worry about my daughters in the world, even though they are somewhat recognizable. So my fears are for what I know is happening out there in streets all over the city. And now that we have leadership that is sort of indiscriminately determining who belongs and who doesn't. And we know that those decisions aren't being made with courts and with due process and, that it's being made like this cop that pulled my brother over when he was 12. You don't look like somebody that belongs. I can determine just by looking at you that you're a good person or you're not a good person. And knowing that there's so much bias and so much racism and so much ignorance that fuels those kind of choices, I worry for people of color all over this country. And I don't know that we will have the advocates to protect everybody. And that frightens me. It keeps me up at night. And I know that and I see that when I'm driving around LA, I'm just looking in the faces of folks who could be victim. And I'm wondering, how are you feeling? How do you feel standing on the bus stop? How do you feel comfortable going to work, going to school, when you know that there could be people out here judging you and who could upend your life in a second? That's who I worry for right now.
She going straight to hell. She lying her off. You really worried about, but these people are so evil that, ma'am, are you judging people? She just said, Nick, Trent, y'all heard her. She said when she's driving down the streets of LA, she's looking in the face of people and saying, at any moment, your life could be turned around. Ma'am, are you sure they're illegal? Or you assume every Mexican you see when you drive by is illegal? What are you saying to people? These people are legally in this country. And you just assume, like the date that Nick went on, that girl just assumed a Mexican speaking straight English working at a job in America is somehow an illegal alien. Democrats ride down the street and every Mexican is a legal alien, but she say Trump is racist. Ma'am, why are you projecting it on people that's legally in this country? Or do you know that y'all have imported millions of people and pretty much everybody's illegal? Then she goes on to say that it keeps her up at night and that it's racist for Trump to be doing what he's doing. And that's why yesterday Donald Trump had them illegals in the yard, 100 of them, and the crimes that they committed. Why don't this snag-a-tooth tiger mention them people? But they weaponize empathy to gain leverage over you by alluding to the fact that all of these people are just innocent individuals getting rounded up when that's not what's happening. They going after crooks and they may run into another person that's illegal in this country. But why wouldn't we say you should be legal to be in here in the first place? My second point, and I'm going to bring Stephen A. in. My second point is Barack Obama, her husband. She didn't marry him after he was president. She was with him for 8 years, 2 terms. Barack Obama deportations, 3.2 million people. That's half of the people that live in Phoenix. That's more people. That's 3 times the people that live in Tucson. We can go down the list. This is more people that live in most major cities. He deported 3 million people, which was a record high. Are you really worried about deportations? The peak year, 2013. That wasn't too long ago. Did she not remember? It's about 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago. 2013. No, more than 10 years ago. 2013, 438,000 people were deported. Barack Obama had the nickname of Deporter-in-Chief. And she staying up at night. Remember them cages that they said? Donald Trump, separate kids. The cages were started under Barack Obama's administration. She was there. Snaggletooth was there. So why do y'all think she on a podcast saying that deportation of illegal aliens when her husband was the most prolific while she was in the administration? Why is she saying this? Because they evil. They devils. And let me tell y'all this. It's a side note. Only the people on the live stream will see this. I got to talk. Masa, I got to do Masa. Only people on the live stream will see this. Y'all got to go watch the interview with Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan. In the comment section, somebody did the timestamp. So, because Joe Rogan, for whatever reason, didn't timestamp none of it. So you have no idea where to look. But he started talking about parasitic people engaging in universities and how parasites, he explained how parasites actually work in the hosts amongst human beings. But then he also made the analogy of how these parasites are working as the universities as their hosts, which means they're taking over the body and infecting the body and all this other stuff. And it's almost impossible to get the parasites out. And it was the most brilliant thing ever. I feel like I'm smarter just by listening to him. But Michelle Obama is parasitic by weaponizing empathy against people, getting on there, talking with compassion that's fabricated. Clearly, she don't really mean it. Her husband was deporting all these people to leverage your emotional state enough where you're compromised to do what she wants you to do. And that means that if I weaponize empathy against you, you don't know it's weaponized. You feel like you're connecting with me in an empathetic approach. And then now, once I got you hooked, I can get you to hate that guy. Now that I've gotten you hooked, I can get you to buy my new book and listen to my podcast and vote for whoever I ask you to vote for. Because I got you hooked by weaponizing your emotions against you to gain me favor and recognition from you emotionally. And that's what these devils are doing. Before I go to the Stephen A. clip, I want to tell you guys about Masa Chips, an incredible chip company. I got hundreds of them. I can't even show this one because this is a bag of a product that ain't come out. They love me that much, man. They give me stuff. All right, so this is I would say the lime chip. I would say the generic. This is my base one. This is what my go-to is, the lime chip. My favorite one is Cabanero because it's a little spicy, but the go-to, the one we get the most, is the lime chip. 4 ingredients in it. Organic corn, 100% beef tallow, sea salt, lime. That's it. Natural. I got to get another thing because it's green. But natural, healthy chip that you can eat and not feel guilty about. That's the biggest thing. When I go to the store before, I had Masa chips and I would eat them chips. I'm eating these chips and I'm like, I'm getting fatter every time I bite a chip. And I know it's wrong and I shouldn't be eating the chips, but I did anyway. Since Masa, I don't feel guilty. I yam on them chips as long as I keep my carb, I try to stay low on the carbs, but I get the chips, I eat them, I feel good, feel healthy, it's all good. But I want you to get some if you're interested. I mean, hundreds of people that follow me have gotten these Masa chips and tell me if they're good or not. You can put it in the comment section. Go to masachips.com/Officer Tatum. Make sure you use my code Officer Tatum and get 25% off. So if you like the chips, you want the chips, you want healthy lifestyle, 25% off with Officer Tatum code. All right, let's go to Stephen A. Smith's clip, and then we're going to be done. Roll Stephen A.
When it comes to immigration enforcement, there is no doubt that Donald Trump has been successful. We can slice it any way we want to, but Joe Biden having an open border policy caused a lot of problems in this nation. particularly the psyche of American citizens. You cannot have folks crossing the border illegally in an undocumented fashion, thinking that that is going to bode well for American citizens. Whether it's courtesy of $53 million in prepaid credit cards that were doled out by the Adams administration, the mayor of New York, whether it's Gavin Newsom in the state of California indicating that there's some debt issues with Medicare because of the money that you spent on illegal immigration, whether it's crimes in the streets, whether it's the perception that the streets are unsafe in the streets of America simply because of an immigration problem. You cannot have that. And the fact that Trump rolled up in there and cleaned this stuff up, prioritizing border control, definitely is going to be perceived as a plus, whether Democrats and others like it or not.
Boom. Boom. We'll play that other clip in post-production. You hear me, Nick? All right, that's it for us today. I got to get my wife from the airport. We'll talk about Tom Homan and the Canadian election probably tomorrow. Shout out to everybody that's watched. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Madsen Money, LifeRx, MD. Thank you so much for the support. Cure Ammo, thank you so much for the support. Those were our sponsors, and then everybody else who supported us with a $200 gift to get their name on the car. Your pictures and photos we'll send to you. And whatever we have left over, if it's jerseys or T-shirts, we'll still get them to you. If you want one, I'll sign them or whatever the case may be. But shout out to, it was a fun time at Talladega. I'll do the super chats real quick. We'll make them real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Come on, put it out there. Give me the $100 super chat first. All righty. It said Cure Ammo supports the... It went off the screen. Nothing is on the screen. Nothing is on the screen. My screen. Okay. Cure Ammo supports the man, Officer Tatum. Keep doing you, sir. I want to that my guy from Cure Ammo. That's a great company, a great guy. The owner of Cure Ammo, I hope I'm saying it right. Cure Ammo is a good guy. We spent time this weekend. He was one of the sponsors. We were at the pit. I got, like, for instance, they sponsored us, and I wanted to get to know him better because it's not always easy to find places where you can trust them to get you good ammo at a good price. And once you find somebody, you're going to be locked in for life. And so I'm interested to do more with Cure Ammo. We're going to try to go and visit their facility and talk more. I got to check their process. I haven't bought ammo from them yet, but I want to check their process and how it works because the CEO, the owner, convinced me that I only want to work with him. But I got to make sure they stuff right? And I think that it is just based on meeting the guy, man. But as soon as we go do the deal and whatever, I might just buy all my ammo for them, and all y'all gonna buy y'all ammo for them too. And I'll make sure that process is good enough for you. But anyway, I support them too, man. Great guy, great company. I'm sure we're gonna do more in the future. So shout out to them at Cure Ammo. Y'all need to go visit them. I think we got a link somewhere we'll put down. Okay, woohoo, welcome back. We missed your lives. I appreciate it, man. I love you guys. I miss you guys too. Did you hear about the Buffalo public school not reporting sexual abuse of minors as well as deleting evidence of attempted kidnapping? That's crazy. That must be Buffalo, New York. All right. How do I get the great product Synergy? Shout out to Dustin. All y'all got to do is go to synergylife.com, synergylife.com, and get you some Synergy today. And I think a good lesson to look up just for your own psyche is Shin. People always ask me, why do you name it Synergy? Because some people think about synergy. It's not synergy, it's Synergy, because the Shin is the 21st letter of the Hebrew language, and it has a lot of biblical and God significance. Like El Shaddai starts, the word literally in part starts with Shin. Shabbat starts with Shin. If anybody has a mezuzah on their, I think I'm saying it right, a mezuzah on their doorway, which I got one in my office, in the doorway leading into my office, it has a Shin on it. That letter is the Shin. And so there's a lot of biblical significance to it. It's an incredible letter, and it meant so much to me that I wanted my product to always have something pertaining to God in it. So every time you get a bag, every time you get it, it has a scripture on it. When you guys buy Shenergy products, I'll send you a card, and on the card is a prayer and an affirmation. So you can always have that affirmation that you can say every morning, and you can have that prayer you can say every night. And it's an incredible prayer, and it's an incredible affirmation that you can use it forever. And you can memorize it, and then you can share it with everybody you want to share it with. It's not just an energy drink. It's a lifestyle that puts God first. All right, see y'all on the next one. I'm out of here.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the